right, our next storyteller is Sanjee.
Woo!
He is currently a math tutor at Literacy Chicago and co-chair of the Literacy Chicago Associate Board. Sanjee lives in Wicker Park and enjoys boxing, reading, cooking, and volunteering, but not necessarily in that order. Sanjee, please join us.
A little smaller than other folks. I was a bit of a late bloomer, according to my parents. I didn't start to talk until I was around 2 years old, and at first, my parents were really excited. Up until they weren't. Because once I started to talk, I never stopped. I love to talk. I still do. It was about 20 years ago. My dad graduated, got a job, we moved, and I was starting at a new elementary school in 2nd grade, eager, excited, and ready to make a whole bunch of friends. Or I thought I was ready. See, what I didn't know at the time was, well, I was a bit of a vocal invalid. I spoke way too fast for anyone to ever understand me, and I had severe rhoticism. Rhoticism is a speech deficiency which caused me to not be able to say any of my R's. Rhoticism. I was diagnosed with a condition I couldn't even pronounce. I was quickly shuffled over to speech therapy where I learned how to enunciate. It was at that time, too, I realized all the smiles and nods I received from teachers weren't necessarily encouraging. They and most other people had no idea what I was saying. I just got good enough grades that they would humor me. And I never minded speech therapy. I got pulled out of math, and I got free candy. What bothered me the most was I wasn't comfortable in my own, not my skin. I wasn't comfortable in my own voice. I went through all the trials and tribulations an elementary school student goes through. How was I supposed to make friends if no one could understand me? Even worse, how was I ever going to get a girlfriend if I couldn't say the word girl? And the shame was, I still loved to talk. I just realized no one could listen. I think it's really hard to hear your own voice. Not the way you hear it, but the way other people hear it. Then I found it impossible, so I gave up. I considered my voice useless. And I started looking at other ways I could be a better speaker. I have a saying, where stubbornness fails, the other way around, where talent fails, stubbornness prevails. So I started watching public speakers on YouTube through middle school and elementary school. I borrowed President Obama's famous pause to help slow myself down. I used my hands to gesticulate. I used props when appropriate. I didn't look at my notes. I looked at my audience. Above all, I tried to make my speeches interesting. Because even if I was tough to understand, if my speeches were interesting, I was hoping people might try. In all that time, though, I didn't hear my actual speech improve. And I got to thinking, why am I doing all of this? Am I doing it because I'm ashamed of who I am? Or am I doing it because I know what I'm capable of with a bit of effort? So I came to the conclusion. I had to start listening to my voice. Not the way other people heard it, not even the way I heard it. That's the good part of it. Not the way other people heard it, not the way I heard it, but the way that it was. The good, the bad, the fast, the slurred. And so, through middle school and high school, I started doing the things I loved and hated the most. Speak and listen. I always chose presentations over essays. I would run for positions I didn't even want because they gave me an opportunity to speak in front of a crowd. When those opportunities ran out, I made my own. I started a speech and debate team at my high school. Through all of that, I started to get more comfortable. Something I didn't realize before I was asked to speak here for Big Shoulder Stories by Literacy Chicago was this path that brought me to, well, this rug. At Literacy Chicago, I tutor a woman named Crystal in math. If you asked me before this how I found that opportunity, I would have said I Googled Chicago Math Volunteers, and it was like the third link. Some background. Crystal has been taking adult literacy language courses at Literacy Chicago for a number of years, but she really wanted to learn math. To her, math was the key to getting a good job and just having a better life. But also to her, math was like an entirely different language with its own logic, its own structure, its own symbols. And it never felt quite right. But she wanted to learn math really, really badly. And over the last 5 years, she's gone from number lines, addition, subtraction, and now even basic multiplication. So again, if you asked me before how I ended up here, I would have said it was chance. After all of this, I can't think of a different way it could have ended. Even now, the easiest way to make me cringe is by playing me a recording of my own voice. I have a list of words that under no circumstances am I going to say. But that list grows shorter and shorter every year. And it's not because I'm improving. It's because every year I'm becoming more and more comfortable in my own voice. Thank you all so much.
It's been so fun getting to, isn't he just so fun? Crystal has a good time with you, it's awesome.